everyone, I'm back with my Tamiya CR01 rock soccer. And if you guys know, this is a truck that's been around on my channel for a very long time. Basically since the beginning. I've done like my old ancient my favorite RC car series video on it where I talked about it a lot. I did a full review video of it. I did an upgrade video of it. And I just did some running videos of it as well. Yes, my voice sounds different in those videos. You don't have to comment it down below. So yeah, it's been around for a very long time, and I absolutely adored this truck. I loved building it. I loved looking at it. I loved driving it. It's a truck that I'll probably never get rid of. Not only because I adore it so much, but also because I sunk so much money into it. Definitely spent over $1,000 on this truck. So getting rid of it is just plain going to be a loss, and I just don't want to do that. But if you're wondering like how I spent that much money on this truck, check out the upgrade video and all the other stuff, which will be on my channel and at the end of this video. So I decided to dust this thing off and pull it off the shelf today to go test it and run it at the crawler course at the hobby shop that I frequent. I've been testing a lot of my crawlers there recently. I've been testing my sawback and upgrading it and tuning it on that course quite often. So I was just kind of curious how this truck would perform on that course, and also how it compares to the other trucks that I ran on that course as well. So let's go hit the crawler course, see how it performs, and then let's kind of talk about how it compared to some of my other trucks. So as you saw in the video, it did struggle quite a lot. Articulation was limited, traction was limited, even though these are the upgraded, softer Tamiya tires. They still aren't as soft as something you would be able to get from a different manufacturer. So articulation was limited, traction was limited, steering was limited. You kind of saw it struggled to make that right hand, that left hand, like right angle corner. Even with the 4-wheel steer on, you kind of need to back up a little bit. So, this is a heavy vehicle. I don't have a scale on me, but it probably weighs close to like, I don't know, close to 10 pounds. It's a really heavy truck. So you can kind of feel the weight shifting around and all that. But with that said, for me personally, I still had a wonderful time driving it, kind of learning to drive around its limitations. That challenge I thought was pretty fun. But you guys are probably wondering how this thing compared to some of my other trucks. So the first thing, of course, is the CAPRA. This is kind of like a rock buggy kind of style of truck. So how did it compare with the CAPRA? Well, it obviously doesn't perform as well as the CAPRA. CAPRA has way better steering, even with just front steer, without the 4-wheel steer going on. That has the portal axles and very skinny axles to begin with, so a lot of clearance. The tires, even though they're 1.9s, are just as tall as these 2.2s. And with the Hyrax tires on it, they're very soft, very grippy. It's much lighter, of course. It has the dig, has a lot more articulation. It just blows it out of the water. And believe it or not, this CAPRA, even though this is the RTR version with the dig, and I do have some upgrades on it, like some lead weights, the tires and everything, it's still way cheaper than this truck as it sits right here. So just a much better value and much better performance out of the CAPRA, but that was kind of to be expected. So kind of traveling back in time to something that was more of the CR01's era. Here we have the G-Made R1 rock buggy. Both of these are 2.2-inch vehicles, though you can see the R1 has much larger tires, much larger diameter tires. And the reason that both of these use 2.2-inch wheels mostly is because their axle designs. The hubs don't really allow you to use anything smaller than a 2.2. And also back then, 2.2 was the more common like crawler tire, because most crawlers back then looked more closely to this than like a scale trail truck you would see today. So and this one also has all the Phillips JS kind of hardware going on. It's also pretty limited in steering, but nowhere close as limited as the CR01. So how did this one perform? Well, this one has the portal axles as well, though pretty early and rudimentary design. Portal axle. The tires are much better, and these are the stock tires. The steering, even though it's not as good as modern crawlers, it was still miles better than this one. Again, still only with 2-wheel steer. The link geometry is pretty poor, kind of similar to the CR01, but it still performed much better and had a lot more articulation than the CR01 did. And of course, it was still much cheaper than the CR01. So this kit comes out, if you go completely box stock with no upgrades, like $255, whereas this one costs you closer to like $300 to $400 just as a kit. So kind of decide what kind of truck you want. You could also easily get the G-Made. It does include body posts. You could also just easily get the G-Made and just do that, and you have a similar look and a much better performing crawler. So again, kind of look into what you're specifically looking for, but it just doesn't hold up the G1 either. Here again, we have something on the other side, more the scale scale trail truck side, again more in its era. The G-Made GS01 Kubota, this is the linked version. I thought that would be a bit of a more fair comparison to this because it's also a linked truck. They're both about the same wheelbase as well. But even with that said, the Kubota still performed much better. It's much cheaper than the CR01 again. The link geometry on this one and the overall geometry of this one is not very good compared to modern trucks again, but even then, it was miles better than the CR01. So it just absolutely got obliterated, eviscerated by all of its competition and all of its peers. But even with that said, I still love this truck. I think it just looks really cool. It's just really unique. This is an era where like scale crawlers was really starting to blossom and become available in the market. So there were a lot of very unique designs coming from people, a lot of unique innovations and unique ideas coming everywhere. So a lot more variety was available back then, whereas now basically any crawler you get is gonna basically look the same. So it's pretty unique in that aspect, and whenever people see it on the course or just on the trails, they're always like pretty impressed and pretty entertained with just how unique it is and how cool it looks. So with that said, even though it's probably my worst performing crawler, I still absolutely love it and is going to stand one of my favorite RCs and RC crawlers in my collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A lot of bashing on this truck, I guess, if you want to call it that, but I love this truck. If you have a CR01, maybe you'll find a way to love it too. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, have a great day and have fun with RC.